Today, we want to talk about what you represent, which is the Money Max account. Guys, if
Mhm.
you have not heard me talk about the Money Max account, you're missing out. And the reason, and just to, it just popped in my head, my chosen son actually stepped into the Money Max last night. And he was so super excited because he too has some struggles when it comes to the credit scores, when it comes to getting the lines of credit. And I could not even help him to get set up. So when we did the analysis on that MoneyMax account, 5 years, Bill, 5 years. And he thought he was stuck in his mortgage for another 29 years because he's only been
Right,
in it for a year.
right.
Gosh, tell me a little bit about what let's just talk about first off what piece you see coming to people when you do these personal analysis and what it looks like from your point of view.
Well, people often ask, Bill, what is it that you do? And I simply say I'm a merchant of hope,
Beautiful.
because that's what this thing does. When we go through the process and it's totally non invasive, complimentary, we can provide them with a 2-page report that shows them exactly their debt free date. And that is huge for people because one of the biggest comments I hear from people that I work with and sit down with is, Bill, I am tired of thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm worn down. I don't know what to do when I have an extra 50 bucks or 100 bucks. What do I do with it? How do I work with the debt that I have? And that's what we bring, not only a sense of peace, but a sense of order to their finances in a way that they've never seen before.
That is a beautiful way to put it. I never had thought of that before, but it is bringing order.
Mhm.
Because I remember even in my own situation, I felt like it was chaos all the time. I didn't even have extra money to put on debt, and if I did, we're talking less than $50 a month. So when I have people come to me, that are even in a negative cash flow, I have seen you guys completely flip that world upside down, and just give people a piece that was just, you can't even believe it. So this past weekend, not only did I meet you, but I met John Wasinko, who is also the creator of the Money Max
Mhm.
account. I get so excited when I say that because I do not feel worthy to be in his presence because he has such a great mind that they being he and his partner would sit down and actually come up with a tool that people can use that costs next thing to nothing compared to what their debt is costing them. And
Right.
this beautiful product or tool or whatever you want to call it that is changing people's lives that I didn't even know about until last year. He is such a pleasure to sit and speak with and just watch the ideas roll off of his mind, and how they came up with this product that is helping people to eliminate debt so much faster than you ever thought was possible. Tell me a little bit about a personal analysis. What does that look like when you sit down with a person? What do they need to bring to the table when they meet with you?
Basically, the way I like to meet with people, the first get together, and typically on Zoom, is I call it a discovery call. And what we're trying to discover is this a good system for them? Is this a good fit for them? So I want to find out a little bit about them, what they've done in the past. Just have a conversation about what's your frustrations. Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself? I always ask the question, how many years until you're debt free? And I remember just a week ago, a gentleman said, well, it's going to be my life insurance policy. It's taking care of that. It's like,
Oh,
What?
yeah.
That's not a plan."
No.
Um, and and so that whole process of finding out their personal savings report and developing that is We just meet, have a great conversation. If it makes sense, I take the Money Max account for a test drive, show them a little bit about what it can do and how easy it is. If it makes sense, we move to the next step. I send them a form, one-page form typically, except for my guy who had 36 credit cards. He needed 5 forms. Yeah,
Wow.
36. Um,
Wow.
but it's no account numbers. It's not invasive.
Right.
What's your income structure, debt structure, expense structure, and then what's that cash flow? Whether it's $1, $100, or 500 or 1,000, doesn't matter. But we'll put it into the system. We get back together and we go through what is your debt costing you, because people have no idea how much are you spending every month on interest. And
Yeah.
wouldn't it be better to have that money work in your bank account as opposed to paying your banker? Because many people are not only paying for their house, they're buying the mortgage company a house as well, and they don't know this.
Right. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. I didn't realize that that amortization schedule is set up to feed the bank first. I never
Yeah.
had understood that before. And when I learned that, of course, I was so in deep with other debt that I had to work my way up to the mortgage because I did not know about Money Max. Um,
Mhm.
but the fact is that when I learned what the amortization schedule did, I started sharing that, with family members, because I'm like, did you know that they have this set up to where, you're paying a whole lot of interest at the very front of these loans? And everybody, I literally heard people say to me, well, that's what you have to do to buy a home. That's
Right.
what you have to do. So when
Hmm.
I learned how to use lines of credit and started realizing that you could take a line at a higher interest rate, it seems, like if your home is at 3% and then you get a 10% line of credit, that seems kind of dumb that, like, oh, well, let's switch. No, that's not what we're doing here. You're chunking onto that mortgage principal to jump that schedule. And that's really hard for people to understand because we
Hmm.
weren't taught about the schedule. But what Money Max comes in and does is eliminates interest. So, that's mind boggling that the software has been set up in an algorithm to eliminate the interest down to about an average of 2%. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's exactly what it does. And by focusing on the debt, and one of the uh, key banking principles is strategic payoff. And I ask people all the time, when I talk to people, I say, well, how many debts do you have? And on average, it's 8 to 10.
Wow. Yeah.
And if a person thinks, well, I'll just do this myself, and let's just say they have 8 items: mortgage, 2 car loans, some credit cards, right? Well, with 8 items, you could formulate a list, the order that you're going to pay those debts off, 40,320 different ways, I think is the number. So, and if you go to 10, it's 3.6 million.
Wow.
So, how could you figure out the one way, the right order? And then if you spent all that time and machinations getting to that, and then you get a notice that your credit card company just lowered or raised its interest rate by a quarter of a point, that just renders that whole list moot. It's not going to work. It's
Right.
different. And that's the beauty of the Money Max account. It moves with you.
That is the beauty of it. When we're talking about trying to figure out which debt do I put what amount on so that I'm able to, eliminate interest and do the debt elimination, it's literally like rearranging the decking seats on the Titanic. It's
Right.
futile. You're
Right.
going to crash. And I'll get those comments all of the time on my videos. Somebody will come in and they'll say, well, why don't you just take your extra cash flow and put it onto the principal? It's going to serve the same purpose. Because they are so brainwashed, like the rest of us, that they don't even realize there's a strategy that has to be used to be able to eliminate interest because it's set up pretty well in these amortization schedules. So you have to know where to hit the debt on what date and what amount. And that is the beauty the absolute beauty of the money max. I had my chosen son, I call him, because he's not my bloodline, but I love him just like one of my own. I was talking to him, and he said that this makes everything so easy. And no more
Right.
guessing. No more guessing. He said, I have a date elimination debt. It's over. And I think he's 5.3 years. I wasn't sure exactly. But let's say, in 63 months, he is going to be completely out of debt, and he's only 33 years old. How
Mhm.
many people in the United States of America actually reach debt elimination with a home? I'm talking about his mortgage too,
Mhm.
being completely paid off before he's 40 years old. That is amazing. I mean, that's almost like, wow, you can live your dream of anything you want to do once you're out of debt, because you no longer have to worry about making payments. So follow
That's
your
exactly
dream.
right.
Before you came on, that's what I was talking about. Is we're programmed to go through high school, we're programmed to go through college, and so many, even my two oldest children, do not even use their college degrees. And thank
Mhm.
God they didn't take on college debt, or these student loans. But you help with everything, right? Do they have to have a mortgage to get the money max? Can they
No,
use the money max with a student loan? Tell me a little bit about that.
that is an excellent question because the perception is, oh, I don't have a mortgage, I don't need it. Well, that's not really true. A large portion of our clientele are people that want to buy a house, but their debt to income is upside down. They have too much credit card debt, student loan debt, cars, personal loans, personal lines of credit, whatever it is, whatever kind of debt you have, the Money Max account will address it in the right order to send the right dollars in the right amount on the right day to the specified debt to eliminate everything as quickly as possible. So, regardless of the type of debt you have, that is, although I want to say debt is debt, we know that credit card debt's different than a mortgage and different than a car loan, the way interest is calculated, but the system accounts for all of that.
Wow.
And that's why when you have two people side by side and they both purchase the Money Max account, one person might be attacking their MasterCard first. The other person, it might be their motorcycle loan. You don't know going into it. You just know that whatever the Money Max is telling you, that is the fastest way to get out of debt.
Wow, I love it. That's what I said. I have
Mhm.
it. I'm not using it yet for personal debt because I was waiting to buy a property or something with it. But that is amazing to me how, a home can be paid off in 5 to 8 years on average, and we're paying 30 years. Does
Right.
everybody hear me out there? No, this cannot be used in Canada. Tell us why, Bill. I do know the answer to that question.
It has to do with the structure of their mortgages are just a little bit different, but I also, as I understand it, talking to John, we're close to getting there.
Yay!
But in take that with a grain of salt because whenever you talk to a guy that's a genius and a developer, when they say soon,
Yeah,
take it with what is soon, right?
right.
But it could be first quarter next year, a year from now. I don't know, but I've just heard that we're working towards Canada. I think it's a regulatory issue, and the way that the debts are structured, but they're working through that because we have friends to the north that we want to take care of as well.
Right.
And as soon as that happens, then I think you'll see it kind of a domino effect of going to other places as well. It only makes sense because people, it's not only in America, people around the world have an issue with debt, and everybody knows, no debt or debt, which is better?
Right.
Well, you want to reduce stress in life, get your debt, your cash flow under control. That's what we bring to the table.
That is what I bring to the table, because I remember how I wasn't able to enjoy my life because I was always concerned about where the money was coming from. I never had enough, I had more month than money. And I was so, Bill, I don't know if you've ever been in debt or not, but that feeling in your gut of complete loss, it's like you don't even know where to look. And, when you
Right.
have small children like I did during the time, it's it overcomes your family life because you're so busy focused on maybe working the second job and you're not at home anyway, or you're so busy with trying to I cannot tell you how many times I sit down and listed out my debt, just
Hmm.
making lists. And then you have your payment, and then you're like you're figuring it in all different ways. Well, maybe if I divide the payments up, I can make $50 a week towards this,
Hmm.
$22 a week towards this. I did everything. And I was a huge, huge Dave Ramsey fan because I thought since he's all over everything, I'm like, he knows the answer. He has my answer. And you know what? In 1960, he did have my answer. But we're in a credit system today and we're not
Right.
dealing with cash. This isn't a cash society like, yeah, cash is king. It's like, um, nope, it's not. And I don't want to have a conversation with him because I think that what he does is a good thing. I mean, he's teaching people
Hmm.
to control their spending, and I'm not mad about that. But I want an answer. I want an answer. What is the answer for me to get out of debt? I
Hmm.
know that I can crimp and save. I know that I can sell my house and live in a cardboard box. I know that I can sell my car and walk and ride my bike. But I want real answers. What
Right.
is the real answer to save me and my family all of this stress? And the real answer is velocity banking. I will always be a fan of lines of credit because I feel like that we need as many lines of credit as we can get because we need cushion for those live events that are going to happen, and they're going to suck us down if we're not prepared. For
Right.
example, my again, talking about my chosen son, his wife had a wreck yesterday, and you all did the money max account with them last night. So now that they are set up and know what's going to happen with their money, they can now take the extras that's going to come from having the car accident, and thank the Lord no one was injured, but they do have to replace their car. So, you guys have figured that into their money max and how that's going to work out for them. And they'll know, what they need to bring to the table. And the money max is going to work it out for them and show them still, even with such an event as a car accident, how to control their money and to make it work for them. And I
Right.
can't thank John enough, John and Skylar, to the creators of what they've done for the American people, because it is a game changer. And I'm excited about that. Thank you so much, Irene. Irene, I want to say hello to you. I know that you were a main player at the conference this weekend. You are so precious. It was such a pleasure meeting you and your husband. I hope you guys enjoyed the conference because I enjoyed meeting you. Guys, we had an 80s party and we had some of the Money Max crew dress up like Ric Flair. I wish I could show you those pictures right now because that was hilarious. That was probably the best costume we had at the party. So I appreciate your Money Max team coming in and really making the event that much more exciting. So before we end here, tell me a little bit about the webinar that's upcoming. What's going to happen during that webinar?
Right. Tuesday nights we host a webinar that um, starts at 8 Central. I mean 8 Eastern, and it's an overview. It's just an introduction. um, who we are, where we came from, what we do, and it's designed just to give people a taste uh, of what Money Max might do for them. There's a process afterwards. We have a link that they can, if they want to sign up for a one-on-one meeting, a Zoom meeting with one of our reps. That's great. That's the whole point, is to give them information so that they can make the right decision. And I would just encourage everybody, regardless of what you've heard out there, pro or con, judge for yourself.
Yes.
Come now, this Tuesday night, we kind of have this deal going on. I think it's called, what was it? Oh, the election.
Yeah.
So
Right.
this Tuesday, we're flipping to Thursday night, but normally Tuesday nights. And Christy, you're always so good about getting the word out there, because our corporate motto is buying back America one family at a time. And I've been associated with this company for 17 years. I'm an independent financial advisor, and that was it. The mantra way back, buying back America one family at a time. And that's truly what we're doing. And we're grateful to work with you, because I have to tell you, um, I don't know if you send your followers special water or minerals or something, but they literally are cut from a different cloth, and they have a level of knowledge that is far above. I've worked in the cold lead market prior to working with you, and your people are awesome. They're educated, they have great questions, their eyes have been opened to the possibility of something different. And we just love the opportunity to show them who we are and what we do. And if they go with velocity banking or they go with the Money Max account, either way, they're taking that step forward to get out of debt, because that is an anchor around your neck, as
Yes.
people have experienced and know, and to be able to eliminate that, and that's what we talk about. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. You are right. It is a weight around your neck. That was a great description. We had somebody ask, what happens after you get out of debt with the Money Max? Does it go away? Is there any way to build wealth through the Money Max?
Yes, there is. There's a great way to build wealth, but here's the key. And this is one of the reasons why I love what we do, is because in every other scenario, it's all about, um, for most financial advisors, they talk about get out of debt and then build wealth. It doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to say something that is totally weird, and you think, but actually, what we do is we transform those liabilities, those debt, into an asset. It's kind of a process to explain, but basically, you can start now. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait those 5 years or 8 years or 9 years, whatever that 10 years, whatever that might be. If and this isn't for everybody, but if the numbers are right, um, you can get started right away on that. But yes, sometimes you need to wait a little bit so your cash flow gets in a better position, but you don't have to wait. That's the
Right.
key. You can start now.
That's beautiful. So we have people on here that are commenting that they have the Money Max and they absolutely love it. That's the only feedback I get. I'm going to be honest. I had one
Mm.
lady that went into the Money Max, and she was in her late 70s. And when we talked about it, she said that she wasn't a computer whiz. And, I told her, like I tell everybody, think about it. Just, look at what they have to offer, look at what it will do for your debt. And if it's not something that you want to use, then walk away. This is not a sales call, people. This is your option, another option for you to get financially free very, very quickly. So that lady told me that she was not capable, she said, of using the Money Max. And she's the only one that I have heard say that. Everybody else tells me how simple it is. And it's just because, even myself, we were not raised in a computer age. So sometimes looking at a computer screen in general can be overwhelming to you. But most of the people, that's when I say that's the only complaint I've had, that's
Mhm.
pretty impressive even to me, because a lot of people get in there and they're like, oh, I changed my mind. I haven't had that. Everybody that the fantastic team works with has told me that it has been a pleasure using the Money Max. Now, One more thing that I want to. Oh wait, Wendy says Money Max is saving her 308,000 in interest. So that's awesome, and congratulations, Wendy. But I hear that every day from my people that are using the Money Max. That's not an unusual amount. But what I was going to say about the cost, everybody's so tied up in the cost that I'm not ashamed to talk about the cost and what it is, because I think that it's amazing how cheap that the originators keep this product available to people. And we have, for just example, for the people that I know that are using it, is if you have a mortgage, the price is a little bit higher if you don't. But dudes, if you have a mortgage, even you're not even talking about probably a $44,000 cost. We're not talking something that's going to be $10 or $12,000 to save you that $308,000 in interest. That's what I'm saying. Is when people come to me about the cost of the Money Max, I tell them it is pennies on the dollar to what you're saving. So, for example, my chosen son, he is going to be saving over $250,000
Wow.
in interest. It's
Mhm.
going to be saving him 26 years. Is that what I said he was in? No, 28, 20. Let's see. Let me go back. He's doing 20, 25. I'm sorry. Let me tell you, I'm not a mathematician. He's going to be saving 25 years. 25 years because he's in a 30-year. He's going to be paid off in 5.3 years. Okay, so he's in a year. So you're talking about 24, less than 24 years that he's going to be saving in monthly payments. That's,
Right.
I understand why people are like, oh, that sounds so good to be true,
Mhm.
but it's not. And the thing is once he gets up and rolling, and the other people that have worked in this Money Max, if once he gets up rolling and he starts bringing in more money, I'm going to tell you, I think he can get out of that in less than 5 years, because he's not counting. He works on the side sometimes. So if he rolls that money into this strategy as well, then you're talking that he could be out in less than 5 years. 3 to 5 years is my idea. So tell me, how often do you see, what is your average, I guess I'm asking, of what you see people end up paying debt off once they're into the Money Mix comparing to that 30-year mortgage?
It's definitely within the 7 to 10 year time frame. I just
Right.
worked with a lady yesterday. This is total, and I was shocked. I mean, I've been with the company for 17 years working with this tool, and I was surprised she had $515,000 worth of debt. Her monthly cash flow was, I think, $89.
Wow.
$89. And her mortgage is so new, she hasn't even made a payment yet. She's
Wow.
done in 8.3 years.
That's just crazy. That,
Two hundred and
I mean,
two hundred
that's
and
what I said.
$269,000 in interest saved. So when you look at the investment and the return, for every dollar she invested, it's a $70 return,
Wow.
guaranteed.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like pennies on the dollar. And if I could, shake people and say the cost is nothing, these people are not making all of these millions of dollars off of this tool that everybody thinks they're getting taken for. This is literally a handout in my mind, is because the originators are like, here, we want to help you, please take our product and make it work for you for next to nothing. I keep saying that, and I know that people are saying, well, $3 to $4,000 is a lot of money to me, but it was a lot of money to me too. But when I see that you're taking 2 decades of payments off of people, to where that by the time they are, say, 40 years old, like with my son, 40 years old, and he's going to be out of debt around the age of 37, 38. That's insane. I mean, Who wouldn't want that? So
Right.
when I bring you guys on here to talk about Money Max, I get a little bit excited because I did not know. Had I known about this back in my day, I would have been like out of that home loan so much faster as well. And I'm
And
kind of mad about it, just to be honest with you.
well,
Just to be honest.
and the thing that people have to keep in mind is that's why it's important to do the work up front. We do the meetings. Um, Sometimes it's 2, 3 meetings, just reviewing and explaining. Everybody's results are going to be unique to them,
Right.
right? Like this lady I talked about, um, I had another gentleman that had $660,000 in debt, 36 credit cards, mortgage, 2 car loans. He had he had $97 in cash flow,
Yeah.
and he was done in like 10.8 years, something like that. And so it just depends on each person. But before they move forward, they're going to know 3 things: how much time we're going to save them, how much money we're going to save them, and yes, what the one time investment is. And the beauty of this, the way we have it structured is you own it for life. You have debt today, and you may pay it off like your son-in-law in 5 years, but that's not the last time he's going to buy a car.
Right.
It's not, maybe he wants to build a real estate portfolio. I show people all the time with where they're at, and if you add a rental property into the mix, you push back your payoff date a year and a half, under 2 years. And they go, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so those are some of the many things that the Money Max can do. Just know that it's a tool that moves with you. It looks forward and it shows you what's coming. You see, the biggest reason I think we have success is we make the promise clear. Most
Yeah.
people fail at diets and budgets because the promise is not clear. And when I
Right.
saw this for the first time in April of 2007, that's what got me excited. I could now work with my clients and show them right here, you're going to be debt free guaranteed by this date. You just have to follow the system. Remember, it's like a financial GPS, like the GPS in your car. If you want to get there in the shortest time, you follow the prompts and that's it. The
Right.
GPS doesn't drive your car. We don't drive your money. You're always in control. And that's the beauty of the system is the way that it integrates into your life and allows you to make decisions based on what you can see. And
Right.
that's where we separate us, the Money Max account, from every other entity or thing out there.
Right. And um I just, I want the people to understand that just like you said, this is not something that is a scam. I hate that word, but it's not something that's a scam. It is about having the tool that you need to know where you're going and how fast you're going to get there. And guys, this is all the way up to you're going to know your dates of elimination before you're ever approached with a cost. Okay. You're going to know how this system will work for you. That is what's so beautiful is that if you decide, hey, I want to get a personal analysis, and then you get there and you're like, not for me, walk away. You have nothing but a little bit of time invested in getting your personal numbers looked at and ran. And I think that that is worth uh, going at least to the webinar to see the information. Sign up for the personal analysis if you would like to. If you don't want to, don't do it. But if I don't bring this to you just like I brought the lines of credit, then I'm in the wrong because I have seen what the Money Max has done for so many people, and I am so excited to share this with them. And Bill, I just appreciate you coming on today and talking to us a little bit about what the Money Max does, what it looks like, and how you have personally seen how it's helping people, because I know that I have seen it and I've seen
Mhm.
a lot. And I don't, like I said, I don't have anybody that's coming to me saying, "Oh my gosh, I wish I'd never done that." That's just not something that I hear.
No.
Most of the time, they're ecstatic with it. I wanted to say hi to Julie too, because Julie was at our conference as well, and she is all the way from California. She and her husband came to Orlando, and it was wonderful meeting you, Julie. I thought that you were so precious, and the kindness that was in the conference was amazing. It was just love. And I mean, we were all just kind of hugging on each other there and enjoying our time together. So, Julie, it was a pleasure meeting you. I just wonder, I'm trying to read I was looking at my iPad because I thought I'm going to pull this up and see if I can see some of the comments that everybody's making so that I'm not missing anything. But for some reason,
Okay, so you want to know what the big question is that I always get from people?
yes.
Now that you've met Christy, is she taller than she looks on video? And the answer is yes, she is. She is taller.
That's hilarious. So, Bill, what height did you think I was?
I don't know, 5'3", 5'4".
I'm about 5'7". So
I would,
yes,
I
that's funny. I never even
I
thought about that. And you know what? You don't think about that by seeing people on these sites like this. But I noticed some people were either taller or shorter than I was thinking they would be too. And it's so neat to get to see these people that I work with every single day, like Money Max. We talk about every day. Chris and Ogle, we talk about every day. Who else? Oh, the banks. We talk about every day
hmm,
something. And it's like when I got to meet everybody in person, I thought, wow, it was just a real experience. And I
it was.
appreciate you showing up. I could not believe you guys drove from Texas, though. Wow.
It was only
That was a
15 hours.
drive.
No, it was that's a half a day's drive. That's no big deal.
Did you
Besides,
did
we
you
were going to
enjoy
see
your
you.
company though? That's what matters.
It was fun. It was fun, and working with your people is just the whole fantastic finances. Your people, the people we met that are on your team there. It was just a really wonderful experience because, like you said, there was just a lot of love.
Uh,
And I'm not a touchy feely guy. Ask my
yeah.
three daughters. But yeah, that's what it was. And to have your pastor get up and speak the way he did so powerfully for Jesus, you just don't see that as much. I'm in Texas now, but I just escaped from Minnesota.
Oh,
Um, and yeah, and it that's just a level of openness that I haven't seen in a long, long time. So
wow.
it was just great to be there to meet you and all of your team. And even the other vendors had some good discussions with them. And then the people who attended, it was
Yeah.
wonderful.
It was. I appreciate that. And you know what? I feel like that people deserve to see the real me. I'm not here to put on a show. You're not here to put on a show. I just want people to realize that I have been right where they are financially, and whatever I can bring to them to give them just a little bit of peace, and some answers, some
Mhm.
answers to what is really going to help me out of this situation. We have a question from AJ. Says, can Money Max be of any help if you've already consolidated mortgage and credit cards on a HELOC?
The short answer is maybe. It just depends on the unique situation. As long as their cash flow is positive, even by a dollar, yes, we can. And meaning they're not going backwards, a hard backwards. People all the time tell me, Bill, I'm cash flow negative. And we do the analysis and we find out, no, you're not. It's just the way you're tracking your money, or more specifically, not tracking your money,
Right.
that you don't know where your money is going. And that's an eye opener. So when we run these analysis, we can show you, can we be of help? The analysis will show that yes or no. And I've had to tell people no. It doesn't happen that often, but oftentimes, the last lady I had to say this was back in March, and we worked some ideas on her cash flow about her. She gets an IRS refund every year. Well, how about you adjust your withholding?
Yeah.
Why are you overpaying the government now? 401k match. If they're only matching 3, put in 3. Why put in 10? And so we took that extra 7%, and that's going to be used to pay down 28% debt. That's a pretty good return right there. So there are just some things that we can talk about. It's not just a cut and dried conversation. Yes, we can help you. Thank you very much. Or no, we can't. See you later.
Right.
We're problem solvers. That's the key. Is we're trying to work with your situation to where you are, and trying to move you to that goalpost of being debt free and to be building wealth for a better retirement.
I agree. You all are problem solvers, and you have some people on your team like yourself, the fantastic team that are really, they make an effort. They make an effort to really work with each individual and see what is it that you need and what are you looking for. I think that's really awesome, because that's what I try to do with my one on ones. I have to read this. This is so funny. Highway to Holiness says, I knew it. I just came across her videos this week and I just knew she was a believer. I see the light of Christ in her. Wow, I knew it. That is going to make me teary eyed. Um,
But well said.
because that's what we're here to show is Christ. So I appreciate you saying that, Highway. I have no other purpose on this earth than to bring him out to people, and hope that they see that. So you saying that answers my prayer this morning was, Lord, let the people see you in me. And when we can bring them answers to some real pressing problems in their lives, they're more open to listening, about him, because I have said from the beginning that the wisdom came from the Lord when I asked him to help me with my finances. And when I asked that for that wisdom to come from him, it came within a day. And I have really not worried about finances since the day he answered me through a YouTube video. Matthew Pillmore, I've said it over and over. He was talking about using a HELOC to consolidate those loans. And when I heard him say that, it blew my mind, because I was like, what? What? And how it made cash flow when you would do that. So I appreciate that. I just want to bring answers to everyone. And that's the only reason that Bill is on here today, is because they do offer the fantastic webinar will give you an overview, like he said, of what exactly the Money Max looks like. They show you that on the screen, what it looks like and what it does for a particular individual, that they kind of give you a rundown showing you exactly how that system works. But they offer the one-on-one free consultation. It's a free personal analysis. They take your debt as you sit today, and they show you what the Money Max will do for you in your situation. After you have all of that information, after they've answered all of your questions, then you will make a decision of whether you want to move into that or not. Like I said, I don't care if you do it or not, but you have to know that it's out there, because I never knew. And I know how it has helped so many of my clients. So, Bill, I won't hold you on here any longer. I'm sure you have a million other things that you need to do as well. So,
This is the great Christy Vann. Are you kidding me?
oh, I appreciate that.
I
I
cleared my schedule to be here
Nice.
with you.
We just want to give you some information. And like I said, join us next Thursday. But every other week is Tuesday nights. I don't want to throw people off. We're just doing a Thursday night because of the election. And I hope we get to see you there. You're very welcome, Tracy. I hope you guys have a great, great weekend. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.